Tomorrow is First Saturday, which means Church Militant will air Marian Moment. Episode 8, titled Triumph of the Immaculate Heart, is the final episode, which includes input from Dr. Paul Kengor, author of The Devil and Karl Marx. Here's a preview.
In a nutshell, Marx was a depraved person who offered depraved ideas. His writings attracted depraved dictators who appropriated his depraved ideas.
Of course, it's really important to keep in mind that our Blessed Mother warned about this, right? So she warned about the errors of communism, Bolshevik Russia spreading its errors around the world. And that was during a series of apparitions between May 13th, 1917 and October 13th, 1917 at Fatima. And within 2 weeks after the miracle of the sun, October 13th, 1917, the Bolshevik Revolution broke out. And it was from there that these errors would spread around the world.
Marian and Marxism are on opposite sides of the cosmic battle between good and evil. Whereas Marxism is a rejection of Christ that points to the kingdom of darkness, Mary is the perfect Christian disciple that points to the kingdom of light.
Joining me now is the producer and writer of the show, the uber-talented linguist, musician, and theology extraordinaire, Dr. William Mahoney. Doctor, good to see you. When it comes to the message of Fatima, there's a lot of focus on what the hierarchy has done or not done. People argue about, which pope did which consecration, if Pope, like Pius XII did it correctly or not correctly. But what about the role of the laity here in response to Our Lady of Fatima's message? I mean, do you think the Catholic laity has embraced her message?
Hey, thanks for having me, Hunter. I think in large part they have not. It's so much easier to focus on what other people are doing, and it's also easy to see the church as the hierarchy and to forget that we're all part of the church too. It's both. So with Our Lady's message, you see a lot of, like Pius XII you mentioned, and John Paul II, and the consecration was done, but did it follow the right form? Was it this? Was it that? And then everyone starts arguing, and it ends up becoming kind of divisive, which is exactly the opposite of what Fatima should be. In the end, we can't do anything about what the hierarchy does or doesn't do. All we can do is respond to the message how we respond to it. And I haven't seen this largely embraced. I mean, how many priests do you hear talking about the First Saturday devotions from the pulpit, reminding people of the horrors of communism and why we need to be making reparation, praying the rosary. So I don't think it's been responded to as well as it could have been or is. And I think that this last episode, I'm really trying to drive that point home with some of the guests on there as well.
And very quickly, if you could, what would it even look like if the laity did embrace the message? I mean, what sort of markers would you be looking for?
I mean, just number one, that it's being preached about a lot, so that the priests are reminding people to do the 5 First Saturdays, to say their rosaries, to frequent confession. And also then people just doing it, and then among Catholics talking about it. I mean, we talk to Catholics all the time, mentioning it and talking about the 5 First Saturdays, reminding each other to do it. I think if just there would be more buzz about it, and there would be more of a push for us from the hierarchy, from the priests at least. So that would be a huge marker. How that would all play out, I don't know. That's left to God's providence. But it would just be more people participating and talking about it, and also just knowing about it.
I mean, it goes back to that really simple idea of focus on what you can focus on. As laity, we can't focus on what the hierarchy can do, isn't doing, is doing, but we can focus on participating in the first 5 Saturdays. We can focus on praying the rosary every day. We just need to focus on what we can focus on, and that's one of the things. Something people need to focus on is episode 8 of this show, titled Triumph of the Immaculate Heart. It gets put on our site, churchmilitant.com, tomorrow morning. Dr. Mahoney, I know you've worked hard on the show. I look forward to watching it tomorrow, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, and shout out to Stephen Posado, the editor, who also worked very hard on this.
That's right.